Before we begin, I want to say thank you to all the new subscribers. We have reached over 2,000 subs, and I'm loving all the comments that I'm seeing. I'm very glad that you're finding the videos very helpful. So as a thank you, I want to give you 3 things you should do to get your bike ready for the road. Number 1, pump up your tires. If you don't know how much air to put into your tire, you could look on the sidewall of your tire and it will give you a PSI range. Typical tires range from about 40 to 60 PSI, but it depends on your tire. A new bike, perhaps with 27-inch or 29-inch tires, usually has a 35 to 55 PSI, and a road tire can range up to 110 PSI. So just look at your tire for the correct amount the tire can hold. You don't want the tube in the inside to go. Pumping your tires is easy, but what if you have one of those funny looking valves we call a Presta? Well, you may need a Presta adapter. I'll have a link in the description below, or you can click above and it'll bring you to a video on how to pump up your tires. There I talk about the Presta adapter. But what if you don't have one? Well, first, if you have a hand pump, it should be able to convert to one. I like this one because it reminds me of Star Wars. But anyway, if you don't have an adapter or a pump, here's a trick. So here we have a tire that needs pumping, as you can see, and this is the Presta valve. So what you do is you open it up, right? And here's the trick. Now, if you have an air compressor, this is actually the only way to do it. You're going to basically need an air nozzle, right? And a straw, or basically a socket wrench, which we're going to be using here. And this is basically a 7x32. And basically what we want to do is make sure that it basically is compressed, right? Focusing it into an area. So we're going to grab our air compressor. Now, you're not going to over pump it with this type of a system, but it's going to be enough for you to get going. So as you can see, nice and firm. Close the system, and you're ready to go. But if you don't have an air compressor, get a hand pump. You can convert it to a Presta, and then basically you'll be able to pump it up. 2, check your wheels and brakes. After you pumped your tires, if you don't have disc brakes that is, your rubber pads may be misaligned. If you spin your tires and you feel rubbing, or if it stops right away, you should do 3 things. First, make sure that the wheel is aligned properly. 2, adjust your pads and make sure it's not rubbing on the tire. If you have disc brakes, click on the video above or in the description below on how to adjust your brakes. 3, wiggle your wheels to make sure it doesn't sway left or right. If it does, tightening the outside of the wheel does not work. This has to do with the cones of the hub. Basically, I treat it like a domino effect. Once the hub is loose, it can start to bang around on the inside and start to create grooves. When that happens, the wheel could go left and right, affecting your brake pads, and they could wear down much quicker. And if the brake pads are not aligned properly, as the tire goes around, that brake pad will start to create a slit into your tire. And before you know it, you need a wheel, a tire, and brake pads. Don't let that happen. Get it tightened right away, and if you're not too sure, bring it into your local bike shop. 3, quick clean or dust it off. Usually a damp rag is good enough, but if you really want to wash your bike by using the hose and you use a spray nozzle, make sure it's on the lightest setting and not overpowering. So this is the stuff I use to wash my bike with. It's the S100. It's mainly used for motorcycles, but I use it on my bike. It's very easy. Just spray it on and rinse it off with the hose. Now, depending on your seat, if it has a Lycra cover, for an example, your seat will absorb the water, so avoid the seat area. Lycra is basically a thin material, but if you have a vinyl seat, which is a more firm, solid top layer, you can just wipe down the seat. This way, you won't have a wet bum. So there you have it, 3 things you should do to get your bike ready. I just want to say thank you once again for all the subscribers and wonderful comments. I really do appreciate it. Now, I do have a donation page if you'd like to donate. There is no obligation, but it does help me to do more videos just like this. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. I sense something. something I haven't felt in